court on Wednesday, following claims made by Peter Obi's lead counsel, Levi Uzoku, that the INEC chairman was dodging the service of subpoena issued by the court for him to produce certain documents. This happened after the Labour Party had tendered some IREV reports and results from about.
Speaking on behalf of the Commission in Jos, the Federal Commission and National Population Commission in the state, Cecilia Dapuet, said it was necessary to clear the air so that people will stop spreading wrong information, stating that all is set for the conduct of the census whenever the Nigerian government gives the go-ahead.
We all saw the cloud of uncertainty that hung above the nation after the election, and we are careful not to fall into some pitfall and plunge the country into more trouble. We cannot take things for granted and decided to postpone the exercise. I assure you it is done in the nation's interest.
She added that the Commission is using the opportunity offered by the postponement to reassess its work plan.
Presently, we are getting our new leaders acquainted with the methodology and processes adopted for the current census exercise. There is always room for improvement on the process. Note that the Commission is committed to safeguard all resources expended while we await the new date.
Recall that the federal government had earlier fixed 3rd to 7th May 2023 for the conduct of the exercise, but was later put on hold by former Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari. Wiki Idako, AIT News, Jos.
There was an altercation between the Labour Party and INEC at the Presidential Election Petitions Court on Wednesday, following claims made by Peter Obi's lead counsel, Levi Uzoku, that the INEC chairman was dodging the service of subpoena issued by the court for him to produce certain documents. This happened after the Labour Party had tendered some IREV reports and results from about 7 states and their local government areas. The Labour Party and Peter Obi then told the court that they had wished to conclude tendering of documents, but that they are constrained by the refusal of the INEC chairman to receive subpoena directing him to produce critical documents which they need to submit as part of the trial. He sought for an adjournment to enable him resolve the issue with the lead counsel for INEC, Abubakar Mahmood, who according to him had promised to assist. But Kemi Pinero, who led the INEC legal team for the day's proceedings in the Labour Party case, disputed the claim and took a slight dig at the petitioners, saying they're always seeking for excuses to ask for adjournment. According to him, similar subpoenas were served on the INEC chairman by the PDP, and it was received without any report or evasion of service. Pinero, a senior advocate of Nigeria, said it had become a signature tactic of making INEC the whipping boy over the Labour Party's inability to follow through with their case, reminding that the petitioners had only called 2 out of the 50 witnesses they had proposed to call, with barely over a week left for them to close their case. This led to a sharp retort by Obi's lawyer, who took offense with Pinero saying his use of language was unfair to him. It took the intervention of Presiding Justice Haruna Samani to calm the situation, urging the senior lawyers to show respect to the court as they have always been heating out at each other. Obi's case was subsequently adjourned till Thursday, 15th June for continuation. Meanwhile, in the case of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and Atiku Abubakar versus INEC, the court admitted the statistician's report on INEC election data in evidence as forensic analysis report on the 2023 presidential election, independently analyzed by a star witness of the PDP and Atiku Abubakar in its ongoing challenge of Bola Tinubu's election victory. The star witness, Samuel Oduton, who identified himself as a professional statistician, his report was admitted amidst the objection by the respondents, which include INEC, Tinubu, and the APC. After being led in evidence-in-chief by the petitioner's lead counsel for the day, Eitayo Jegede, his cross-examination was deferred till Thursday, based on the agreement by the counsel to their respective parties.
Good morning, everyone. Trust we had a wonderful night rest. Lord Larry, good morning to you. Ubazuno, good morning. Ubu Biafra, good morning to you. And to other viewers out there, good morning. Yeah, we're back again with the newspaper review. So on this day, newspaper says subsidy remove, still on subsidy removal. It's a petrol price war imminent as NMD prow begins licensing licensing of more oil importers, vowed to protect Nigerians from exploitation. Real Ondo seal deal to boost clean energy access in Nigeria. You can see that on page 5. Senate resumes legislative activities, adjourns till July 4. That's on page 41. CBN abolishes multiple exchange rate transactions now to hold on high and e-widow fixed rates. Bauer honors DSS invitation hours after suspension. Umar now acting EFCC chair. Prescription of trading limits on oversold FX. Reintroduction of order-based two-way quotes. Reintroduction of order book to ensure transparency of orders and seamless execution of trades. And RT 200 rebate scheme, Naira for dollar remittance from June 30. Stock bound market appreciates. Analyst hail move. And there's a photo there displaying Abodo Marks 3 score years anniversary in style. Confection of influencing cause of justice. NBA tax pleas. ICPC on interrogation. Persecution of Senator Bukar Shuku. Can see that on page 42 of this day newspaper. And over to the Punch newspaper, Tinubu suspend the FCC chair indefinitely. Others pub. You can see that on page 2. Student loan disbursement begins in September. That's coming from the federal government, still on page 2. And President project 500,000 jobs with data protection law. That's on page 10. And private sector economists back set up a private sector economists back CBN. Naira falls to 664 Naira per dollar. CBN allows banks to sell dollar at own price, removes cap on exchange rates. Economics analysts worry over central bank capacity to stabilize exchange rates. Lagos police brutalize strip lady over courtism allegation. That's the image, you can see the photo there. And prosecute Justice Bukashua's husband. NBA tells federal government, you can see that on page 7. Tinubu mourns 106 Kwara boat accident victims. Page 144. Rescue. No division in Akeredolu's cabinet, states acting governor. You can see that on page 12. And that's all on the Punch newspaper. Then over to Daily Trust newspaper. It says reactions Troy Kanu government demolition of roundabout. Kwara boat mishap. 144 rescued as federal government vows to prosecute owners. Still on the student loan, we can no longer foot universities bill that coming from the federal government. Tinubu suspends the FCC chairman. Bauer accuses him of abuse of office. Umar Abba takes charge. Embattled anti-graft chef grilled by DSS. Removal of politically motivated is coming from the CSOs on page 4. Revenue from railway drops by 60% as passenger traffic plugs to 5M in 1 quarter. Thunder kills referee during football match in Nigeria. May so rest in peace. That's on page 16. Kidnappers abduct policeman. 2 mourners demand 1.7 million ransom. That's on page 5. CBN finally devalues Naira. Fuel scarcity bites harder on airlines. Devaluing and unifying the currency very positive. That's on page 19 and page 20. Then over to the Nation newspaper. Please, if you're new to this channel, don't forget to click the subscription button and turn on your notification bell so as to get notified whenever we're live. And please don't forget to make use of your super chat and click the like button. Then if you have any comments, if you have anything to say, you can join us here via the link below. Federal government 890 billion naira extra budget littered with ghost projects. That's on page 4. Student loan law takes off in September, still on page 4. Benefits open to all. At range over death of 106 in Kwara boat accident. You can see that on page 6. Tinubu orders prop of EFCC chairman's tenure, and DSS detained Bauer after indefinite suspension. CBN abolishes multiple naira dollar exchange rates. Markets driven currency regime excited financial experts. Don't shift blames for sloping handling of your case. INEC tells Labour Party Zobi's lawyer. Ex-Senate spokesman asks Aregbesola why he didn't vote for Tinubu. Oyetola. And that's it on the Nation newspaper. And over to the Daily Sun newspaper. It says Obi INEC lawyer flash over summons on Yakubu. Considered on page 6 on Daily Sun newspaper. Tinubu's armor falls again, smashes EFCC chairman. That's on page 27. Orders Pope of Bauer, Director of Operations, to act. Kwara boat mishap. Tinubu orders propped as death toll rises to 106. That's on page 4. Marketers meet to avert petrol scarcity. We are crash trapped, says Nugasa. You can read that up on page 25. Labour vows to push for immediate salary award to lessen effects of subsidy removal. That's on page 2. Federal government moves autonomy for public varsities as disbursement of student loans begin September. You can read that up on page 28 of Daily Sun newspaper. Bandits attack mourners, kidnap policemen. 2 others in Benue. That's on page 4. Nigeria, India agreed to block pipeline of illicit drug flow as NDLEA NCB sign MOU. That's on page 4. Reps declare Gbajaba Miller's seat vacant. You can see that on page 26. And Tinubu signs into law data protection bill. That's on page 6. Nigeria sells for 755 naira per dollar as federal government gives bank power to decide forest rates. You can read that up on page 2. Anxiety over liberalization of forest markets. Government adopt 7 University of Jos students. That's on page 4. And then into the Guardian newspaper, I say Nigeria slums as CBN commences rates. Harmonization faces supply although. That's on page 6. And INEC, Labour Party, biker over subpoena as Obi tenders IREV reports. Federal government to begin disbursement of student loans September. You can read that up on page 5. And DSS invites suspended Efcc chairman. Outrage as Kano governor demolishes multi-million naira monument. That's on page 5. And AMCON's bid to return Arik L to founder fails twice over 240.3 billion naira debts. Kenya president wants less circulations of dollar in Africa. That's on page 2. And that's all on the newspaper. And let's just see this. It says Nigeria Secret Police DSS arrests EFCC chairman Bauer after suspension. So the spokesman of the DSS, Peter Afunaya, confirmed Bauer's presence in a statement. He said the source said is currently being grilled by the operative of the Secret Police. Spokesman of the DSS, Peter Afunaya, confirmed Bauer's presence in a statement. The Department of State Service DSS has invited Mr. Abdulrasheed Bauer, the suspended chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC), Barra arrived a few hours ago. The invitation relates to some investigation activities concerning him. Afunaya said in a statement. Chara reporters earlier reported that President Bola Tinubu suspended Barra from office indefinitely. So his suspension is indefinite. Then on the CBN, so CBN abolishes multiple rates. Strong indication emerged on Wednesday that the Central Bank of Nigeria has officially abolished its extant multiple exchange rates regime and directed commercial banks to sell foreign exchange freely at market determined rates. This is just as the central of for the promotion of private enterprise, has explained that this is not a devaluation of the naira, but a normalization of the foreign exchange policy regime. The bank said the popular Rate 200 rebate scheme and the Naira $4 remittance scheme would be stopped effective June 30, 2023, stressing that further guidance on these matters shall be provided in due course. In a circular, all authorized dealers and the general public titled Operational Changes to the Foreign Exchange Market, released late Wednesday evening and signed by the Director, Financial Markets, CBA, Dr. Angela Serra Ejime Ejibi. The Apex Bank said all segments of the foreign exchange market are now collapsed into the investors and exporters, which is the I and E window. It's noted that the application for medicals, school fees, BTA, PTA, and SMEs would continue to be proceed through deposit money banks. According to the circular, the willing buyer, willing seller model at the I and E window has been reintroduced. Operation in this window shall be guided by the extant circular on the establishment of the widow, dated 21 April 2017 and referenced FMD/dir/CIR/GEN/080037. All eligible transactions are permitted to access foreign exchange at this window. The operational rates for all government-related transactions shall be the weighted average rate of the preceding day's executed transactions at the I and E window, calculated to 2 decimal places. The CBN stated it further noticed the introduction of the prescription of trading limits on oversold FX position, with permission to hedge short position with over-the-counter OTC futures. Limits on overbought position shall be zero. They has also reintroduced order-based two-way quotes with a bid-ask spread of 1 naira. All transactions shall be cleared by a central counterparty, which is CCP. It further noted that there is the reintroduction of the order book to ensure transparency of orders and seamless executions of trades, whereas the operational hours of trade shall be from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Nigeria time. The latest market rate said to be a willing buyer, willing seller arrangement permitted the foreign exchange market as the Nigeria depreciated against the US dollar, trading at 664.04 naira per dollar from 471.67 naira at the official investors and exporters I and E window. Data from the FMDQ exchange has shown. Conversely, the parallel market experienced an appreciation with a rise of 0.85% to 758 naira per dollar from 765 naira per dollar, as market forces attempted to converge. In the same vein, 1 month, 3 months, and 1 year dollar per naira forward rate closed at 666.79 naira, 700.33 naira, and 757.32 respectively, indicating 102.03 naira, 189 naira point 10 kobo and 191 naira point 70 kobo losses. While the CBN and FMDQ exchange hasn't confirmed the reports, the increase narrows the gap between the official window and the black market. Experts say a free-floating exchange rate occurs when a government allows the exchange rate to be determined purely by market forces, and there is no attempt to ask the central bank to influence the external value of the exchange through its intervention. Widening gaps between the official, other multiple window and parallel market exchange rates which created room for tripping to flourish. Collapse of liquidity in the foreign exchange market, resulting in acute forest scarcity. It foiled demand for forest because of the incredible rent opportunities created by the huge parallel markets. Premium and created a major incentive for forex inflows into the economy, thus suppressing forex supply. However, the CBN should position itself for periodic intervention in the forex market as and when necessary to stabilize the exchange rate and prevent volatility. This should happen not by fixing rates, but by boosting supply to the extent that the reserve can support yourself admonished. And that's all on that. Then over to Nnamdi Kanu's case. So you think UK Court of Appeal to hear Nnamdi Kanu's case June 2022 as lawyer condemns Britain's inability to protect citizens maltreated abroad. So we hope now that the UK Court of Appeal is going to look into the case, we hope for a positive result as soon as possible. So confirming the court sitting, Kanu's family's UK lawyer, Shereen Maka of Bindmans LLP, in a press release on Wednesday, kicked against why there is no clear and principled policy around protecting British citizens mistreated abroad. The United Kingdom Court of Appeal held Nnamdi Kanu's family's appeal on June 22, 2023, as the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, spent over 2 years in the detention of the Nigeria government's secret police. The Department of State Service confirming the court sitting. Kanu's family Kanu's family's UK lawyer, Sherry Marker of Bindmans LLP, in a press release on Wednesday, kicked against why there is no clear and principled policy around protecting British citizens mistreated abroad. The lawyer in the release obtained by Sahara reporters through Kanu's Nigerian Special Counsel Alo Ejimako noted that Kanu's case will set an important precedent on whether the British government has the right to avoid making a decision on whether a British citizen is subject to fundamental breaches of international law, in spite of overwhelming evidence of violations of the rights. In the statement titled "Why Nnamdi Kanu's Case Matters to Every British Citizen Travelling Abroad," the UK lawyer wrote, according to the Office for National Statistics, UK residents make around 19.1 million visits abroad each year. Most of these residents will be British citizens with passports declaring to authorities of other states that the Queen and so now the new king requests and requires all those whom it may concern to allow the barrier to pass freely without left or hindrance, and to afford the barrier such assistance and protection as may be necessary. And most will assume that if they are denied such assistance and protection abroad and still are seriously harmed, then the UK government will step in to assist them. After all, the most basic function of any state is to protect its citizen. Nnamdi Kanu's case, which is awaiting a hearing in the UK's Court of Appeal on June 22 this year, is set to put each of these assumptions to the test. That is because if the High Court was right to reject his family's judicial review claim earlier this year, the UK government has what amounts to a right to remain indifferent and passive when British citizens' rights are grossly abused abroad. Indeed, that right would mean the government can avoid ever making a decision about what has happened or is happening to its citizens when they are abroad and desperately seeking its help. The fact of the case are stark. Mr. Kanu is a beloved husband and father to family in the UK. He is also leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, which is IPOB, a group that calls for self-determination of Biafra land. And crucially, he is also a British citizen who has been subjected to the most serious human rights violations, including being detained for 2 years in Nigeria in an intelligence agency facility in conditions that amount to torture. As a British citizen, he traveled with the same expectations of protection by the British state as any other British citizen who may be mistreated abroad. however unlikely that may be. Unfortunately for Mr. Kanu, such protection has been conspicuously lacking. Perhaps, surprisingly for many, the question for the court is not what should the UK government do to help him. Instead, it should the UK government makes its mind up about what has happened to him and then decide what to do, because for over 2 years the government has said it cannot and will not make those critical decisions. In June 2021, while visiting Kenya, Mr. Kanu was adopted by Nigerian Security Service. He was detained and tortured for around 10 days in Kenya at a black site before being forcibly transferred from Kenya to Nigeria on a private plane without any due process. For nearly 2 years, he has been held in solitary confinement in a Spartan cell at the Nigeria Intelligence Agency, headquarters in Abuja, Nigeria. He has been denied adequate medical treatment despite a long standing medical condition. Since his detention, Mr. Kanu's family have been asking the British government to take steps to secure his release on the ground that there was no lawful basis for bringing him to Nigeria, and he was therefore subject to extraordinary rendition. Mr. Kanu's family have also argued that his ongoing detention is arbitrary. To date, however, the Foreign Secretary has failed to reach any firm view on whether Mr. Kanu was subject to extraordinary rendition. He claims only a provisional view is possible, despite the overwhelming evidence and reports as sections of United Nations and the Nigeria Court of Appeal. Mr. Kanu's family have brought a legal challenge against the FCDO on the basis that reaching a firm concluded view is necessary to lawfully determine what steps should be taken to assist Mr. Kanu. An earlier Court of Appeal case, Abasi, held that lawful decision making on assisting British citizens detained abroad depended on reaching such a conclusion. Mr. Kanu's family challenge was aired before Mr. Justice Swift at the High Court on 15th November 2022, and judgment was headed down on 23rd March 2023. In the judgment, Mr. Justice Swift noted the serious wrong committed against Mr. Kanu, including that in 2017. The Nigeria state had attempted to kill him, and the Nigeria authorities captured him in 2021 whilst he was in Kenya and subjected him to inhuman and degrading treatment. And crucially, that he was subject to rendition. The court also highlighted extracts from the opinion of the UN Working Group on Arbitrary Detention and the Nigeria court, which unanimously found that Mr. Kanu was subject to extraordinary rendition and called for his release on the basis that his ongoing detention is arbitrary. However, despite clearly recognizing the gravity of the wrongs committed against Mr. Kanu, the courts appointedly heard that Mr. Kanu has no legitimate expectation that the British government should reach a firm view for itself on what had occurred or its seriousness. The court also heard that it was rational for the Foreign Secretary to maintain a provisional view on whether Mr. Kanu has been subject to extraordinary rendition, despite the overwhelming evidence. This is particularly surprising, given that the court itself reached the view that Mr. Kanu has been rendered on the basis of the evidence before it. The High Court's judgment is troubling not just for Mr. Kanu, but for any British citizen who finds themselves subject to a serious violation of their rights abroad. It effectively enables the Foreign Secretary to maintain indefinitely ambivalent in the face of such a violation and limits the step the British authorities should take to assist a British citizen, even in circumstances where there is clear evidence of that violation. Unfortunately, Mr. Kanu's case is no aberration. The British government's inadequate approach to Mr. Kanu's case is symptomatic of a wider failure to protect its citizens abroad, one that has led the Foreign Affairs Committee, FAC, to conclude in a recent report that the UK government is failing to prevent adopter states from weaponing the citizens of Britain nationals for geopolitical end. The fact highlighted that the presumption that quiet diplomacy is always appropriate is false. The fact also concluded that the FCDO's policy of not commenting on or interfering with a foreign state's legal system, even in situations where the UN has condemned that state's actions, is counterproductive and risks undermining an important tool, as well as the government's commitment to a rules-based international order-based solution for ending unlawful and arbitrary detention by a foreign state. The FAC recommended that the government should, as a matter of practice, promote public acceptance of the opinion of the UN Working Group. Such action has been entirely absent in Mr. Kanu's case. The detained recommendations in the FAC reports reflect the lack of clear and principled policy around protecting British citizens mistreated abroad or working with their families in the UK to ensure meaningful protection for them. It will be interesting to see how the government responds to the report. But in the meantime, the government of appeal will have an opportunity to give the FCDO's policy on protecting its citizens abroad a proper and robust legal depending by uploading the principle arising from Abase. Good morning, Sir Alex. Please, if you're new to this channel, don't forget to click the subscription button and turn on your notification bell. And please don't forget to make use of the like button and your super chat. Sir Alex, good morning to you. Okay, Future Bright, good morning. Dabereshi Vitura Sido say Biafra needs to go now. And we just hope they do the right thing. Actually, we pray they do the right thing, because from this statement you can see that it's not now. But let me just round up the. It said the Court of Appeal we heard Mr. Kanu's family's appeal on 22nd June 2023. The case will set an important precedent on whether the British government has the right to avoid making a decision on whether a British citizen is subject to fundamental breaches of international law, in spite of overwhelming evidence of violations of their rights. Anyone traveling with a British passport should look out for the ruling and hope that the courts will firmly restate and apply the principles in Abbasi so that they can be confident that their government will properly consider what protection they need abroad should such a need ever arise. Okay, so that's all on this Nnamdi Kanu's case. Obina Ima, good morning. Yes, good morning to you. So that's the update that the Court of Appeal, the UK Court of Appeal, is going to look into the case. Mambo Paulinos Oyebkashi, Biafras are going to celebrate their independence soon. Yeah, we hope so. We pray. So just hope that whatever they're going to do, it should be to the release of Nnamdi Kanu as soon as possible, and that they take decisions as fast as possible, so as Nnamdi Kanu should get proper treatment and get back to his feet again and be a free man. So that's just all on that. Sir Alex, are you here with us, or you're kind of busy? Okay, sir.
Hello, how are you doing?
Very well, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How is everybody?
Very well, sir.
You know, sir, they do Omugo now, you know. I do there especially. And a special greetings to, I don't know if she's watching us, Madam Elise Peters, for a good gesture, a big gesture. I think speaker for English. Now it be graduation. For a good gestures towards the stolen mandate of Priye. So, Madam, we really appreciate your good gestures. Am I correct, sir? Okay, you dey laugh. You know correct me for the English. You dey worry this one. Is it for your good gesture or gesture? Which one correct, sir? I never know. Kevin, which one is correct? This can know the kind of school na go. Now school na they go how they learn something for this school. I mean the Zoom network don dey affect you. So, Madam Ali Peters, thank you for
Kind gesture.
Okay, na kind gesture. Okay. I think na good gesture. Okay. Madam Alice Peter, thank you for your good, kind gestures towards Priye's stolen mandate. That is Priye's stolen iPhone. So in no time, we're going to work towards it so that Priye will be getting a phone.
Gesture.
Who should be gesture again? It should be gesture.
Gesture.
Oh, gesture. Not be gesture, I be gesture. Which, Kevin, what is this? How did they spell it? How did they spell it?
The spelling is GESTURE. Gesture.
Okay. Madam Peter, let me rephrase. Thank you for your good jest and thought towards Priye's stolen phone. Back to the matter on ground for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. The UK writes to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. They want to hear Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's case. For me, the UK is total failure in this Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's case because in the UK citizenship, they have what they call to protect their citizens against danger. Danger zone. That's whenever there's a danger, they will send their flights wherever to go and pick up their citizens from any danger zone. Now, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has been adopted to a danger zone for over 2 years. So what are they waiting for? I remember that time when American citizen was adopted in Nigeria, Donald Trump was still the president of America. Before they intrude Nigeria and pick up their citizens, nobody was aware. So UK has that kind of intelligence also to go to Nigeria without even going through this hearing procedure, doing this. Go straight to the Oponko in Aso Rock, meet with him or whoever is in charge, the DSS custody, everything. Go there and bring Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to UK. Tell them now we are taking Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to UK prison or court. So we'll be hearing the case. It's our citizen. Let us charge him or hear it from here. Or if you want to take him back, you have to follow through jury procedure, not by extraordinary rendition, not by stealing or kidnapping. You would break up the international laws. So I don't know why UK are waiting for someone to Mazina the Kano family to meet them, to write to them, give date to want to hear Mazina the Kano case. They're deaf since. Are they not aware that Mazina Kano was legally adopted, kidnapped, tortured, humanized from Kenya to Nigeria? We don't know the one that issued the statement that 6 months Mazina Kano should be returned back to Kenya. So a lot of, I don't really understand it. For me, I don't really want people to believe on this court hearing that is coming up on 20, it's not 20 June. For me, Libya will say Mafi Fider. He has no, for me, he has no moral compass. Is plugging a dead horse. Because they want to do something. We in the media space are not supposed to be aware of it. They're supposed to go underground. The way the DOS are going underground without doing nothing. They're supposed to go underground and do something and bring out Mazi Nnamdi Kanu from the hands of these criminals. Not that telling us they want to hear case of Mazi. Waiting now 1 year, they're deaf since then. They want to listen. So he has no use for me. That's what I can say. And for the seat at home that was declared by the Biafra Prime Minister, to me, is a very good move. It makes sense, and the self-referendum that should be conducted is another smart move again, because this time around, like what we said, you cannot wait for Nigeria to conduct referendum. It's not going to work. Nigeria will never conduct referendum. Never, never. A country where someone like Asari Tokubo come out that is going to be the next president instead of Peter Obi. Asari Tokubo, you know, if he stand on his own, will become president. Nigeria don't finish with that now. If someone like Asari Tokubo can be boasted on social media that he will be president before Peter Obi. Peter Obi is too intelligent. Peter Obi is an intelligent man. No, it gets sense. So failure like Asari Tokubo come outside to be say he won't become president of Nigeria instead of Peter Obi. That is to say that Nigeria is already a failed state, because President Asari Tokubo was supposed to be rotting in prison, Tompolo guiding a pipeline, Tompolo that was supposed to be in prison, so on and so forth for illegal bunkering and a lot of things they are doing. Because Nigeria is not working. That's why Crook everybody, like Mr. Goodman say, if we don't tell our story, when they tell the story, elephants will begin to fly. Nigeria is the only country where elephants fly, the only country where animals swallow money, the only country monkey richer than human being. So a lot of unspeakable things happen in Nigeria. If UK can leave their citizens there, that is, they are not really ready. And I'm very shocked a lot are coming out that Tinubu is going to work the way he's doing now. Tinubu is going to work. So now what they are concerned is Tinubu is going to work. They are no longer concerned how Tinubu emerged as the president. Millions of people that went there by during the campaign. People don't even bother about that one again. Now Tinubu go work. Nigeria don't finish that. So no matter what you do to come into power, what if you can work, so your sins will be forgiven. Tinubu that's supposed to be behind bar is the one arresting people in Nigeria. Opposite is the case. EFCC boss arrested, and all of them are working together. Because for me, I never seen EFCC boss arrest any legitimate criminal. The only EFCC boss always arrest is this the boys that do it. Let me say, script makers. They will claim that they are fraudsters. They are not fraudsters. They are making good money from their script. Their videos going viral. They have millions of views. You know what it takes to have millions of views on Facebook, and they have millions of followers. But the EFCC will go after them because they are living above the EFCC salary. They will call them criminals. So that is why. Imagine a guy called Brain Jetta. He earns up to 300 million in a month on social media in a year. In a year on social media stuff. Yeah, but someone like that will go and buy a estate. Now, yes, will go after it and say Yahoo boy. He's not a Yahoo boy. He's making good money from the social media world. We are no longer at the aim of what's it called analog. We are in digital. These are happening. Guys are making it. They have a lot of endorsement that give them good money. But EFCC will leave the main criminal that did not contest for election become the president. Tinubu run this president in ascension. He never campaigned. He never went to any Balabo town hall meeting. He was in ascension, as Showore earlier stated. But he won. Peter Obi never went out of the country, never visited his wife. He never knocked. He never do anything. He did not knock throughout the presidential election. He will continue and keep it up till now. Upon the effort, they collected the mandate from you, and people are celebrating that Tinubu go work. I bet my life to talk. Madam Peter, thank you so much. Really appreciate it for your good gesture. Kevin, over to you. Okay, na kind gesture. Sorry, I bet more I use it too. Kind of good more I use it too. King Onuka, welcome, sir. Now, I say do Omugo. I'm mute for now. I'm listening.
Good morning, brotherly.
Oh, Alex, I was here before King Onuka now. Which one are not? Now they cheat me.
Helen Peters, no verse, my sister. Carry on a bed. Greet
Good
me
morning,
first,
darling.
no? Greet me.
Good morning. My mic, I don't know if you worry my mic.
How are you? Congratulations once again.
Thank you, ma. They do Omugo. I will say Madam Peter there, maybe for the assist me now.
My dear, I for don't reach there, Tete. The fact is that it pains me. I for don't do that. Well done.
Thank you, ma. Thank you,
hope
ma.
our
Thank
boy
you
is
for your
doing
good
well.
question. Yeah, it's kicking. Alex Jr. is doing well.
Okay, then. We thank God for everything. And the mother, she's fine. Okay.
Yeah, I'm taking care of her. I'm cooking pepper soup, everything for her.
Everything. I trust now. Now our job is that one. Both men and women, we can do it very well.
Yes, ma'am. Over to you, ma'am.
I just want to contribute for UK having hands in the kidnapping of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. You understand? UK did not just silence. They knew what was going on. They facilitated the kidnap of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu because they were fed up of the broadcast going on that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu used to make. They knows that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has destroyed the zoo with his broadcast. You understand? And you know the zoo, it belongs to them. So they will not want it to go down the way Mazi Nnamdi Kanu wanted it to be. They will never. That is why they are totally silent, because they are part of it. They facilitated it. Everything that went wrong in the kidnap of that went on in the kidnap of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, UK is aware and they are part of it. Do you understand me? And that is why they will never have peace, because you can't fight the truth. They know everything that is going on in Nigeria. They know the killings that the Fulanis are doing in Nigeria. The war in Ukraine is not consuming life the way Fulanis are killing people in Nigeria. But UK are silent. They did not talk. If it is to be another indigenous people that is doing this to probably the Fulanis, UK will have stepped up. Do you understand? But they are silent because they are part and parcel of it. They don't want Nigeria to break, because Nigeria is their food bank. But God, whatsoever they are doing to Nigeria today, God will replicate the same thing to them in millionfold. Terrorists will take over their country, and they will be silent as well. Foreigners will take over their country as they have already done now, and they will have no say, because that is what they are planning. They have planned for us in Nigeria, that we the indigenous people should be silent, while foreigners from Niger, from Futajalo, from all over the Sahel should come over and take over our land, and they are silent because their interest is there. The oil and gas is their interest. The resources of Nigeria belongs to them, and they will continue to make us on our own blood. Do you understand? God is not asleep. God is fighting this battle. And at the end, Biafra will be free, and every other indigenous people will be free from that country. They are just a liar. They can't stand what is coming. Even their owner, they can't fight it. They need help. They need help. They are not able to solve their own puzzle right now. They are not. They are struggling since they left the EU. I wish they can go back to, I live here in UK. I wish they can go back to EU. They would have, but they cannot. It is this same politician that played that card. No, we have to pull off. We have to pull off because they are selfish. Now, since they pull up, they are struggling. If you go to our supermarket now, you will not be allowed to buy. Maybe if you want rice, like you want to buy 6 packs of rice, you will not be allowed to buy it because it's not going to be enough for others. You will be forced to take just 2 that can serve you and your family that day. You understand? We are lacking of food. Everything is lacking. Everything is shut down. I've just received a message now from my workplace that as from the 18th, there will be bus strike. Bus will not be working. Trains have not been working before. But most people, if you go by train, most of the time, if you don't have your car, you go with a taxi. Taxis now, they are very, very expensive now, going to work. You understand? So MNK have laid costs on them. And not until they release MNK, they will continue to fall and fall and fall. So shall it be. That is my contribution this morning because it's very painful. It is painful that the world we are living now, evil has turned to good and good is turning to evil. Can you see that? Would God really allow that? Why did God destroy Sodom and Gomorrah then? If God will allow evil to strive. So God is still there. He's fighting. We will be free and very soon. Thank you very much. My regards to you all.
Thank you, Madam Peters, for that wonderful contribution. God, they watch us. I don't know why God never destroy. They both destroy that Zulu, leave Biafra land. Because the evil that is happened there, even the Sodom Gomorrah never reach this one. The Sodom Gomorrah was analog. This one is digital. Yeah, pastor will be knocking church member. They will be celebrating.
Eh?
If
God did not decide now, which means he will hold him also guilty of what he has done to Sodom and Gomorrah. Eh? So he's going to intervene. He will surely intervene. For this battle that is on ground, God will surely intervene.
He said, and the victory will be us. The victory will be for us.
Amen.
And so, hey, King Anuka, let us kick you out. Okay, so, can your King Anuka? Where you look at it, can bring him back so you can have a say.
Network from the zoo is always zoo. My leader will say zoo network. Imagine.
The zoo is panicking.
You're panicking.
Yes, sir.
Let me leave you guys. I've got an appointment because you were.
Okay. Thank you so much. Really appreciate your effort towards prayer.
My regards to you. I hope my girl will come up on time.
Yes, in due season she will come up. You know, she's using a big phone. That is a problem. Me, where they Europe, you don't let them use all those big phone. Now 100 that they use.
Imagine.
There's a big big something where now they pay me. I love body.
You know, that is what they want. It is their time.
To oppress or to feel among. But if you don't use big something, people will say this is not get level. But European, nobody look what you.
No. So far you can talk, you can video all those stuff, and we are on. We are going. All right, my darling. Bye.
Okay. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, bye.
Over to you. Look if King Onuka is coming. Look if he has him on the studio.
Okay, thank you, Ma. I think we lost King Oluka. Yeah. We will talk to us maybe tomorrow.
Did you play that? You're not your time. Did you play any video?
Yes, I did.
Have you played the video?
Yes, I did.
All your videos?
Yes, I did, sir.
Okay. And give your closing remark now. Me, you know, say I did do a mogo. Now, few time I get with you now, and I see the park. You see, it's very tight now. They tight corner. We are relocating. See my boy, the greet you now. So we are relocating.
Take care of yourself.
We are relocating, so I don't have much time, but they try. They do my things one kind. Till next week, maybe after I will park more for you, then I can be fully. Yes, you want to greet? Say bonjour. Alex, say bonjour. Alex is hungry. Can I do your things?
Thank you so much for staying tuned with us. So Alex, thank you. Mrs. Ellis Peter, thank you. And King Owuka, thank you. Seems like you are busy. All right, so with this, we've come to the end of today's newspaper review. Thank you for staying tuned. And thanks for the like, but you can still click on the like button if you haven't. Same time, same station tomorrow.
There was an altercation between the Labour Party and INEC at the Presidential Election Petitions Court on Wednesday, following claims made by Peter Obi's lead counsel, Levi Uzoku, that the INEC chairman was dodging the service of subpoena issued by the court for him to produce certain documents. This happened after the Labour Party had tendered some IREV reports and results from about 7 states and their local government areas. The Labour Party and Peter Obi then told the court that they had wished to conclude tendering of documents, but that they are constrained by the refusal of the INEC chairman to receive subpoena directing him to produce critical documents which they need to submit as part of the trial. He sought for an adjournment to enable him resolve the issue with the lead counsel for INEC, Abubakar Mahmood, who according to him had promised to assist. But Kemi Pinero, who led the INEC legal team for the day's proceedings in the Labour Party case, disputed the claim and took a slight dig at the petitioners, saying they're always seeking for excuses to ask for adjournment. According to him, similar subpoenas were served on the INEC chairman by the PDP, and it was received without any report or evasion of service. Pinero, a senior advocate of Nigeria, said it had become a signature tactic of making INEC the whipping boy over the Labour Party's inability to follow through with their case, reminding that the petitioners had only called 2 out of the 50 witnesses they had proposed to call, with barely over a week left for them to close their case. This led to a sharp retort by Obi's lawyer, who took offense with Pinero saying his use of language was unfair to him. It took the intervention of Presiding Justice Haruna Samani to calm the situation, urging the senior lawyers to show respect to the court as they have always been heating out at each other. Obi's case was subsequently adjourned till Thursday, 15th June for continuation. Meanwhile, in the case of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and Atiku Abubakar versus INEC, the court admitted the statistician's report on INEC election data in evidence as forensic analysis report on the 2023 presidential election, independently analyzed by a star witness of the PDP and Atiku Abubakar in its ongoing challenge of Bola Tinubu's election victory. The star witness, Samuel Oduton, who identified himself as a professional statistician, his report was admitted amidst the objection by the respondents, which include INEC, Tinubu, and the APC. After being led in evidence-in-chief by the petitioner's lead counsel for the day, Eitayo Jegede, his cross-examination was deferred till Thursday, based on the agreement by the counsel to their respective parties.